The Galactic King raises his blade high above the crimson deck, and all around him the ship burns in silence, as though the fire itself dares not roar in his presence. The twin children stand before him, their eyes wide and filled with fear, yet also filled with something more, something he cannot name, perhaps defiance, perhaps sorrow, perhaps the echo of destiny itself. The king does not waver, for he has chosen his path long before this night when the galaxy trembled at the whisper of his coming. The chamber is vast, lined with the bones of fallen rulers, and the walls drip with molten metal that seems to bleed like a living wound. The children hold each other's hands, their small bodies trembling, but their voices rise together in a single cry, a cry that cuts sharper than any sword. Though the king pretends he does not hear it, he does hear it. It coils around his heart like a serpent, and it squeezes until he nearly falters. But he is the Galactic King. He cannot falter, not now, not ever. Stars beyond the viewport flicker and turn away, as if ashamed to witness what is about to unfold. They blink, shut their eyes in mourning, their light swallowed by the darkness of his deed, and still the king steps forward, his armor gleaming with the reflection of the dying suns, his crown heavy with the weight of countless worlds conquered, his eyes colder than the void itself, and the blade in his hand glowing red with the memory of all those who have fallen to it before. The twins do not run, for there is nowhere to run. They do not beg, for they know begging would mean nothing. They stand together, shoulder to shoulder, like the two last pillars of a broken temple. They whisper words to each other, words the king cannot hear, and perhaps it is better that he cannot hear them, for the words carry power, ancient power that does not belong to his dominion. They speak of hope, they speak of return, they speak of one who will rise from the grave to avenge them. The Galactic King raises the blade higher still, his muscles tense, his breath deep, his shadow swallowing the children like a storm. Their voices grow louder, though no sound escapes them, for their words now belong to the silence itself, the silence that fills the burning ship, the silence that presses down upon the galaxy, the silence that will one day echo back in vengeance in a single motion. The blade falls and the crimson deck is stained anew. The king does not look away. He forces himself to watch. He forces himself to accept the burden he has chosen. He believes this act seals his reign for eternity, yet deep inside, he knows it seals something else entirely. Something darker, something he will not be able to face when the hour arrives. The twins collapse, their hands still joined, their eyes staring not at him but beyond him, as if seeing something he cannot see. Their lips move one final time, forming words that no mortal can hear, and yet the very air seems to tremble with their meaning. The king feels the chill crawl across his skin, though fire surrounds him. He feels the weight of a curse, though he tells himself curses do not exist. He feels the presence of something rising far beyond the stars, far beyond the grave, something that will come. For him the Galactic King stands upon the crimson deck, his blade dripping, the children silent, the galaxy trembling, and though he claims victory, there is no triumph in his heart, only the heavy silence of a deed that cannot be undone. Across the forgotten dark a tale begins to stir, and travel faster than light itself, carried by currents no one can measure, whispered by voices that do not belong to the living. The story is of Baba Yaga, whose bones have rested in shadow for ages, uncounted, whose name is still spoken in fear by those who remember her cruelty and her power. The stars themselves seem to lean closer, to listen, as the rumor grows. The dead witch has awakened, and she does not come alone. Her grave lies hidden in a forest that does not belong to any planet known to man, a place suspended between worlds, where roots twist like serpents and branches claw at the eternal night. Here the air is thick with smoke and silence, and here the earth has long refused to take her bones, for even the soil fears her, even the worms turn away from her flesh. But the whisper of the slain twins has reached this place, and the ground cracks open with a groan that shakes the void. Baba Yaga rises from the pit, her body bent and her hair wild, her eyes two hollow voids filled with fire. She breathes once, and her breath freezes the air. She breathes again, and the forest trembles. She lifts her crooked staff, still scarred from the ancient battles she fought long before. The reign of the Galactic King, her cracked lips curl into a smile, not of joy but of recognition, for she has been called and she knows who has summoned her. The children, though dead, still cling to each other in spirit, and their voices drift through realms unseen. Their cry of pain and vengeance moves like a current until it reaches her, until it fills her hollow chest with fire. She hears them clearly, though no one else can. She hears their names, she hears their promise of revenge, and with every word she grows stronger, her limbs straightening, her heart igniting, her shadow stretching across the stars like a banner of war. At Her side, a shape emerges from the dark, a dog large as a mountain wolf, its fur ragged, its eyes glowing red. It snarls at the forest as though daring the trees to defy its mistress. Its teeth drip with something darker than blood, something that eats through the earth itself. The dog presses its massive head against Baba Yaga, and she strokes its ear with her withered hand, whispering a command that no living tongue could speak. From the other side, a smaller beast appears yet. Its size does not matter, for its fury is boundless. The honey badger, its back striped, its claws sharp as blades. It moves with restless energy, tearing at roots, tearing at stone. Its hiss echoes like thunder. It circles Baba Yaga, as though impatient for battle. The witch smiles again, and this time, her voice rises into the void, a scream that splits stars and awakens moons. She names her companions, and they answer with growls and roars across. The galaxy soldiers hear the tale. They pretend to laugh, but their laughter breaks into silence. They pretend to deny, but their eyes betray the truth, for every one of them has heard of Baba Yaga. Every one of them has feared the day she might return, and now that day has come. The witch has risen, the dog has risen, the honey badger has risen, and they march together, on a path carved by vengeance, toward the throne of the Galactic King. She walks barefoot from the forest that does not belong to any world known to the maps of men, her skin cracked like the bark of old trees, her hair trailing in wild tangles of smoke and shadow, her eyes no longer human eyes, but black pits that swallow fire and cast it back as flame. She carries her crooked staff across her shoulders, its wood twisted, its surface scarred from battles, forgotten by all except her, and each step she takes leaves the ground, shuddering with the memory of death beside her pads. The great dog, a beast with fur the color of rust and ash, its body massive, its muscles rippling like rivers of stone, its eyes burn with an anger not its own but borrowed from the curse that rides upon the breath of the slain twins. The dog does not whimper, it does not slow, it does not question the path, for it knows the truth. It has been chosen to follow her. It has been chained to vengeance since the beginning of its life, and now the chain pulls tighter with each step. The dog snarls at every shadow in the forest. Its teeth glisten with an unnatural shine, like blades dipped in iron. Its growls roll across the trees, and the trees themselves shake in terror, as if they can remember the first time she walked among them long ago, when she commanded beasts to rend men apart, and they obeyed without hesitation. The dog walks ahead at times, circling her like a sentinel, ready to kill anything that moves, ready to tear flesh from bone and bone from spirit. The honey badger follows close, its body small but brimming with a fury that never tires. Its claws scrape against the roots, tearing them apart. Its nose lifts to the sky, smelling something far beyond the forest, something that lies in the distance beyond the stars. The honey badger snaps its teeth against the air, and the sound is like the breaking of steel. The beast moves in restless arcs, as though it is driven not by hunger but by purpose, by the fire of vengeance that cannot be quenched. Baba Yaga stops at the edge of the forest, her companions still at her side. The trees bend away from her touch, the shadows flee from her eyes. She raises her staff high, and the air cracks, the night trembles. Her voice bursts forth, though it is not a voice, it is a storm, and she calls upon the oath of the twins, whose blood has reached her through the dark. She swears to march upon the Galactic King. She swears to unmake his throne. She swears to tear his name from the galaxy and cast it into the void. Dog barks once, and the sound splits the silence. The honey badger hisses, and the sound rips through the ground together. They stand as her guardians, her executioners, her wrath made flesh and bone. Baba Yaga turns her face toward the stars, where the citadel of the king gleams cold and distant. She begins her march. Not slow, not hesitant, but relentless and unyielding. The forest behind her burns with no flame. The earth beneath her feet cries with no tears. The galaxy feels her rise, and it shudders, knowing that death has begun its journey. Beside the dog prowls the honey badger, small yet unbroken and fierce, its back striped, its eyes burning like two fragments of a dying sun. Its claws scrape against the earth, carving lines of rage with each step, and its teeth snap as if seeking enemies in the air. The honey badger is restless. It never slows, never tires, never bends to fear, for fear has no place in its blood. The beast was born in fury and shaped in violence, and now its violence serves only Baba Yaga and the oath she carries. The dog walks heavy, its paws striking like thunder against the soil, its shoulders rising like black mountains with every stride, its gaze fixed always forward, for it sees beyond the forest, beyond the wastelands, beyond the stars themselves. It sees the citadel where the Galactic King sits, trembling though he hides his trembling. Beneath his crown the dog growls and the sound travels through the void as though it were a beacon summoning storms. Summoning despair, the beast knows its prey, knows the taste of blood yet to be spilled. The honey badger rushes ahead, clawing through roots, tearing open stones as though no barrier will stand in its path. It hurls its small body into everything that blocks the way. It rips, it shreds, it breaks. Nothing can stop it, and nothing can turn it aside, for the creature embodies defiance itself. It hisses like fire, it howls like wind, it gnashes, its teeth like blades crashing together, and when it circles back to Baba Yaga, she touches its head and it calms, only for a moment, only long enough to hear her whisper. Baba Yaga leans upon her staff, her back bent but her spirit unbroken. Her lips curl as she whispers words that belong to no living tongue. The dog bows its head, the honey badger crouches low, and the forest itself shakes, as if kneeling before her, for she does not walk alone, though only the dog and the honey badger are seen. She is followed by shadows, countless shadows of the dead, who once swore their lives to her, and they marched, unseen, whispering through the void, their voices cold, their intent unshaken. Her eyes glow brighter as she steps from the edge of the forest. The soil cracking beneath her feet, the air bending beneath her breath, her shadow stretches long across the land, swallowing horizon after horizon, and in her mind the laughter of the slain twins grows louder, no longer a faint echo, but a guiding voice, a promise, a command. She follows their call, she marches with purpose, and each step brings her closer to the throne of the king. The dog snaps its jaws, and the stars quiver. The honey badger roars, though its body is small, and the roar travels into the deep void like a war drum. Baba Yaga raises her staff once more and points it toward the heavens, and with that gesture the march begins. Unstoppable, relentless, eternal, the galaxy feels the stir of her vengeance, and every living thing turns cold, for they know that the witch has risen. The beasts have risen, and there will be no peace until the king is undone. The Galactic King retreats to his citadel, a fortress carved from shattered moons and bound together with rivers of molten light. The walls tower higher than mountains, and the gates gleam with the bones of conquered rulers. The chambers within echo with the silence of those who dared to defy him and failed. Yet even within this fortress of impossible strength, the king feels the weight of shadows pressing close. He feels the ghosts of the slain twins whispering in the corners, whispering in the cracks, whispering in the hollow place where his heart once lived. He walks through the throne room, his steps loud, his armor clashing with each stride, yet the sound brings him no comfort, for every clang reminds him of the cries he silenced upon the crimson deck. He hears their voices still, he hears them laughing, though he told himself their deaths would bring only triumph. He hears their questions, why, and he has no answer, only silence, only the cold mask of a ruler who cannot admit regret. The throne is vast, forged from meteors, and wrapped in chains of starlight. The king sits upon it, yet he does not feel taller, he feels smaller, as though the throne itself devours him piece by piece. He runs his hand across the armrest carved with the names of those he has slain, yet where once he felt pride, he now feels nothing, only a hollow ache that grows deeper with every name that stares back at him. The ache is joined by fear, though he would never speak it aloud, not even to himself. He looks to the heavens beyond the citadel walls, and sees storms swirling across the void, storms that should not exist, thunder rolling where no air should carry sound, lightning crackling across the dark as if the very stars rage against him. He tells himself it is only chance, it is only the will of the cosmos, but deep down he knows the truth. The storm is not chance, the storm is not nature. It is a warning, it is a herald, it is her. The king summons his guards, armored titans, born for war, yet their eyes shift with unease, their breaths heavy with dread, for they too have heard the tale that spreads like fire through the galaxy. They too have heard that Baba Yaga has risen. They too have heard of her companions, the dog with teeth like iron and the honey badger with claws like storms. They bow to him, they swear loyalty. Yet he sees their fear, he smells it, he tastes it like ash in the air alone. Again he places his crown upon the throne beside him and lowers his head into his hands. The laughter of the twins grows louder now, not faint, not distant, but close, as though they stand behind him, whispering into his ears. He tries to shut them out, he tries to silence their memory, but no crown, no fortress, no army can block their curse. They follow him everywhere they live. Within him they will not rest until she arrives. The Galactic King rises once more and grips his blade. He tells himself he will meet her without fear, yet his hands shake, his breath catches, and though the fire of his citadel burns around him, he feels nothing but cold. Baba Yaga moves across the void and across the broken moons, her bare feet striking stone her crooked staff tapping with the weight of doom, her companions never faltering, never slowing their eyes, fixed upon the path that leads to the throne of the Galactic King. The dog howls at alien suns that flicker and quake under its call. The honey badger digs its claws into the earth, tearing the soil as if trying to rip open the very veins of the world to let its rage spill free. She marches across deserts of glass where the sand is sharp enough to carve through steel, yet her feet bleed no wound, for she is beyond flesh, beyond pain. Her shadow stretches across dunes that once glowed with starlight but now turned black beneath her passing. The dog leaps across the shattered ridges, its growl echoing across the horizon like the roar of a collapsing mountain. The honey badger scurries through the glass, tearing at shards that slice nothing but air, for the beast is untouchable, unbreakable. Cross seas of ice where no life dares to breathe, the waters frozen thick as stone, the waves locked in eternal stillness. The witch walks upon the frozen waves as if upon a road, and each step cracks the ice, each step sends ripples across time itself. The dog lowers its head and snarls at the ocean, as though daring it to rise. The honey badger claws at the surface, sending shards of ice flying like broken spears. The sea does not answer, for the sea itself fears on. Forgotten moons they find ruins, long abandoned temples carved into stone crumbling under the weight of centuries. Baba Yaga enters these ruins and the walls shake, for they remember her name. Carved deep into their memory, she lays her hand upon the stone and whispers words older than any language. The ruins cry out and collapse, as if bowing to her command. The dog barks once, and the sound is like a hammer breaking the bones of the cosmos. The honey badger tears open the altar, scattering dust and bones into the endless void. Her march is not swift, but it is relentless. She does not rush for vengeance. She does not hurry for rage. She walks with certainty, with inevitability, with the silence of a storm that has already decided its path. The dog follows, growling at every phantom shadow that dares to move. The honey badger lunges at the darkness, tearing apart what cannot be seen. Their fury lights the path, their fury shapes the journey, and nothing stands against them, nothing dares. The galaxy shudders as she advances, stars flicker and fade, planets quake, armies whisper in terror. Her name carries across the void like fire through dry grass, and none can stop it, none can silence it, for the twins have spoken from beyond, and their voices clang to her every breath. The curse has taken root, and the march cannot be undone. Baba Yaga walks, the dog prowls, the honey badger rages, and the throne of the Galactic King grows nearer with every passing moment. Armies hear of her approach, and fear spreads faster than light. Soldiers who once swore to never bend now whisper in corners, now shake in silence, their hands heavy upon their weapons, their eyes darting toward the heavens as though expecting to see her shadow fall across their camps. They build walls, they raise shields, they forge new blades, but their hearts betray them, for no steel, no stone, no spell can stand when Baba Yaga comes with her companions, the dog and the honey badger. In garrisons across dying worlds, captains shout orders, their voices breaking as they command their men to be strong, to be unyielding. Yet the soldiers remember the stories told in hushed voices when they were children, the tales of the witch who walked with beasts, the witch who could not be killed, the witch who ate the courage of kings. The men remember and they tremble, the women remember and they weep. Even the machines built to fight without fear hesitate when they hear her name, for somewhere within their gears they too feel the curse. The dog howls across the void, and the howl travels through the stars, as if the galaxies themselves are drums carrying its call. Entire battalions freeze, their leaders demand they move, but none can, for the sound has rooted them to the ground. Their armor feels heavy, their swords feel brittle, their courage is drained from them like water from a broken vessel. The honey badger screams, its shrill roar cutting through the silence of moons and planets alike, and the scream shakes the marrow of every living thing. Baba Yaga herself speaks not a word, for she does not need to. Her silence is a storm, her steps are a prophecy, her shadow is a curse. She marches and her companions clear the path. Her staff glows faintly with fire not of this world, the fire of promises kept, the fire of vengeance claimed, the fire of children wronged and lost. The soldiers no, it is not war that comes, it is judgment. They are not protectors, they are offerings, they are fuel. For her fury in cities, once proud citizens gather in the streets, their faces pale, their eyes wide. Priests lift their hands to the sky, praying to gods who do not answer. Merchants close their stalls, though there is nowhere to hide. Mothers clutch their children, telling them to be silent, as though silence can shield them from her gaze. Prophets scream in the marketplaces, tearing their robes, crying that the end has risen from the grave. Yet no one dares deny them, for every heart already knows the truth. From the smallest soldier to the highest general, from the poorest beggar to the richest tyrant, all who hear her name feel the same shadow pass over their souls. For Baba Yaga does not march alone. She marches with the rage of the twins. She marches with the curse of innocence slain. She marches with beasts born of fury, who will not stop until the citadel of the Galactic King is broken. Her coming cannot be delayed, her wrath cannot be denied, and the galaxy itself holds its breath. The Galactic King stands upon the highest tower of his citadel, his armor gleaming in the light of suns that seem weaker now than ever before, his crown heavy upon his head. Though it feels less like a symbol of power and more like a chain he cannot break. He gazes across the void and sees storms forming where no storms should be, black clouds churning in the vacuum, lightning carving scars across the dark, thunder rolling though no air should carry its sound. The laws of nature shatter as easily as glass, and he knows this is no chance, no accident. The storms gather closer, each one larger, each one darker, each one filled with voices. He does not wish to hear the voices of the twins rising in chorus, their laughter cruel, their whispers sharp, their cries echoing his name. The king grips his blade tighter, but the blade feels cold in his hands, colder than the void itself. He tells himself he is not afraid, yet his heart pounds faster than the drums of war. His breath shudders within his chest, his eyes shift, though he forces them still. He knows fear has entered his bones from the walls of the citadel. His soldiers watch the skies. They tremble, though they do not speak. They march, though their steps are unsteady. They chant, though their voices break the captain's order. Silence, but silence cannot shield them from the storm. Every man and woman feels it, the curse that rides upon the windless air, the promise of vengeance that crackles within the lightning. The soldiers know their weapons are nothing. They know their walls are nothing. They know their oaths are nothing against what is coming. The king turns his gaze inward toward the great halls of his fortress, yet even here he finds no peace. The shadows lengthen, though no light flickers. The statues of his ancestors seem to scowl at him, as though ashamed of his reign. The floor beneath him trembles, not with the march of feet, but with the echo of destiny itself. He hears again the voices of the twins, now louder, now crueler, their words cutting into his mind like blades. They tell him his time is near. They tell him his throne is nothing. They tell him his crown is ashy. Walks alone into the chamber of mirrors, where his victories are etched in crystal ware. His triumphs are carved in endless reflection. Yet tonight the mirrors do not show triumph. They show only his face, pale and broken, his eyes hollow, his crown sliding from his brow. The reflections mock him, each one whispering his doom, each one echoing the voices of the children he slew. The king smashes the mirrors with his blade, but the glass only reforms, showing his fall again and again. Outside the storm grows so vast it blots out the stars. The galaxy itself darkens as if afraid to look upon what is coming. Thunder roars across planets, lightning burns across moons. Every living thing turns its eyes to the sky and feels the same truth. The witch is near, the beasts are near, vengeance is near, and the king can no longer escape. He can no longer escape, he can no longer deny, he can no longer hide. The Galactic King grips his blade and stares into the storm, his voice lost in the howl of the twins, his soul weighed down by the curse he himself unleashed. The gates of the citadel shatter, not with siege engines, not with armies, but with the force of inevitability itself. Stone crumbles, iron bends, the air screams as if torn in half, and through the wreckage steps Baba Yaga, her crooked staff glowing faintly with fire that belongs to no world, her bent form cloaked in shadow, her eyes hollow voids that burn brighter than any sun. She does not hurry. She does not pause. She simply moves forward as though the ground itself carries her to the place of judgment. The dog enters beside her, its massive body shaking the halls with every step, its teeth dripping with iron, its growl low and endless like the hum of the cosmos itself. The honey badger follows, its claws tearing gouges into the polished stone of the floor, its body small but unyielding, its rage spilling into every corner of the throne room. Together they are more than beasts, they are omens, they are curses given flesh, they are the fangs and claws of the vengeance that summoned her from the graveless. Soldiers of the king rush forward, blades raised, voices breaking into desperate cries, yet their charge collapses before it begins. The dog lunges with a snarl, snapping armor like paper bones Cracking like twigs, the honey badger leaps with ferocity, clawing through shields, tearing through bodies, scattering warriors like leaves in a storm. Their screams echo, but no mercy comes, for Baba Yaga does not call them back. She does not need to. Her companions know their task, and they will not stop until the last foe lies broken. The king rises from his throne, his blade in his hand, his crown upon his brow. He roars into the chaos, his voice shaking the citadel walls. He declares himself the master of galaxies, the breaker of worlds, the ruler of eternity. Yet the roar carries no weight. His words dissolve into the storm. His hands tremble. Though he grips his blade with iron, will he sees her standing before him, and knows no crown, no fortress, no army can shield him from what comes. Baba Yaga lifts her staff, the flames upon it twisting like serpents, her gaze fixed upon him, her silence louder than his roar, her presence heavier than his throne. The dog circles to her left, its eyes burning, its jaw ready to snap his life away. The honey badger claws at the stone beneath his feet as though preparing his grave. The king steadies himself, his armor gleaming, his blade sharp, yet his soul already breaking. He feels the laughter of the twins, not behind him, not around him, but within him, echoing from his heart. She steps closer, her shadow stretching across the hall until it swallows the throne. She points her staff at his chest, and the air itself freezes. The torches die, the walls shiver. The soldiers who remain collapse upon their knees, not in loyalty to him, but in terror of her. The king tries to raise his blade, but it feels heavy as though the hands of the slain children weigh upon it. He tries to speak, but his tongue falters, for no words can stand against the silence she carries. The dog snarls, the honey badger roars. Baba Yaga lifts her staff high. The galaxy itself holds its breath as the moment of judgment falls upon the king.